hello again, Internet. Welcome back to the channel. We had a great ride lined up that we was going to share with you today. And then this. Some days plans just don't go like we want them to go. But I've been thinking, you know, rain and e-bikes don't go together real well, and when we're transporting these things around, well, we've got a cover for them on the back of the car, but when we used it once, it kind of made them like a great big sail on the back. I wasn't too happy with that. So I've been thinking about what I can do to alleviate that problem. What we need to cover is the display and the battery connection, where the battery goes. And so I've been putting a little bit of thought into that. So maybe we'll take this day, do a little bit about that. So stick around anyway. We got some plans for the day. It's plan B, but it's still a plan. So what we've done here is we've made some e-bike waterproofing, I guess you would call this. We've got a handlebar cover here that we just kind of slapped together with some Velcro and some waterproof material. And we've got a battery cover down here. So what we've done is we just made basically a pocket with some Velcro attachments on it here. And that's going to go right over top the handlebars. And then we made this right here. It's just going to fold back over, go around the battery, and then right up here that'll wrap around and attach back to kind of tighten everything up above the battery. So the first thing we're going to do is we just need to get the material cut. I had it however wide the piece that I purchased happened to be, and I went ahead and cut it 22 inches long for these ones. The number's really not that important. Just lay it up against your handlebars. Make sure it's going to be big enough. Next up, we're just going to roll the edges over on this material so that we don't have the cut edge on the outside. It won't fray or anything like that way. So we'll go around all four sides and just roll it over and run a stitch right down it. Next up, we're going to go ahead and cut a few short pieces of Velcro and sew it on there. This is just going to be so that we can bring a strap around to tighten everything down. Once everything is cut, we'll go ahead and sew them on. Remember, we're just trying to make something that's going to be functional to cover up your handlebars if you get caught in the rain when you're transporting your bike. It doesn't have to be the prettiest and most accurate thing in the world. It just has to be functional. Next, we're going to sew the Velcro on the long ends. It's going to be on the inside. Of course, the hook's on one end and the loop's on the other end. You'll start about a ½ an inch from each end and just sew it all the way across. Our last pieces of Velcro is going to be a couple of strips of the loop. They're going to be maybe 12 to 14 inches long, depending on your particular application. And they'll sew in and wrap all the way around and hook back to the hooks, the short pieces of hooks that we sewed on the outside. For our final step, we're going to go ahead and fold it up and attach the two long hook and loops together, making sure that they're nice and straight. Then we're going to go ahead and run the short ends. We're just going to sew them together. So it's going to be like we have just a little pocket there that's going to be about 30 inches long and somewhere around 10 or 12 inches deep. So for the battery cover, we cut it 18 inches by 12 inches. Now you're going to want to make yours according to what your bike is going to need. That's what we use for the Fat Tire bike and the Trek Marlin. Of course, Michelle's Rad City is going to have something else, and the other Schwinn wouldn't have to have a little different type as well, as they're just different battery setups. Next, we rolled the edges like we did with the handlebar cover, sewed them all down. Once everything was sewed down, we went ahead and attached some hook and loop on the long sides Probably about 80% of the way, maybe 75 to 80% of the way up. We left the last several inches blank on that because we wanted to be able to tighten it up when we get above the battery holder. We then added a piece of hook, I don't know, maybe 2 or 3 inches long. We didn't measure it. And then we added the loops on the same area, and I think I made that probably about 12 inches long. It's okay to go ahead and make it a little bit too long and then cut it off when you're ready. After that, it's pretty much done and good to go. So, to set this on the bike, well, we've already turned the phone holder sideways there a little bit. We just set it over top. Run your hands right down here to seal up the Velcro on the bottom. Now we're just going to take them 2 straps, wrap those around. And I'm going to say that's good to go. That's sitting on the back of the car. That's not going nowhere. My display is going to stay completely dry. Next up, let's go ahead and put that battery cover on. All you're going to do here is just wrap it right around the battery holder, set the Velcro together. Then you're going to go ahead up to the top. You're going to take that strip of loop that comes out, wrap it around, and hook it back on to the hooks that we sewed on there, that short 2 or 3 inch section, and just have everything tightened down. That's going to keep your battery holder and all those contacts completely dry. With this type of a setup, anything that gets on the frame and runs underneath of this is still running underneath of the battery holder itself. Well, there you go, Internet. We just did the first test on it. Traveled a little over 20 miles, and not a thing in the world wrong with that. So I'd say it passes the test. So until next time, Internet, stay safe, God bless, and keep them wheels rolling. We're out.